Have you ever noticed how people say, "I lost my temper," as if it slipped out of their hands, as if it escaped without permission, as if it happened to them? But here is a question most people never ask. Why does anger always show up exactly when it is useful? Why does it appear during arguments but disappear during job interviews, during police stops, during courtrooms, and during important phone calls? If anger were truly uncontrollable, it would not obey social rules, yet it does, which means something uncomfortable is true. Anger is not something that happens to you, it is something you do. And once you see this, your entire relationship with anger changes. This idea feels threatening at first because it removes a comfortable excuse. I could not help it. But if you slow down and look honestly, you will notice something important. Anger almost always has a purpose. Ask yourself quietly, what did my anger help me get? Attention? Control? Submission? Fear? Respect? Silence? Anger works. That is why we use it. Most people grow up believing anger is an emotion. Emotions are automatic. Therefore, anger is automatic. Something happens, you feel angry. You react. End of story. But this story does not match reality, because people do not get angry all the time, even when bad things happen. Two people can experience the same event and only one explodes. One yells, the other stays calm. Same situation, different response. So anger is not caused by events, it is chosen in response to them. That idea makes people uncomfortable because it means responsibility is involved. Instead of asking, what caused my anger, a better question is, what was my anger trying to achieve? Imagine a man yelling at a waiter because soup spilled on his jacket. He says, I yelled because he spilled the soup. That sounds logical. But look closer. Did the soup force his mouth open and push sound out? No. He chose yelling because yelling was useful. He wanted an apology, control, a feeling of superiority, a sense of power. So he created anger to justify the behavior he wanted to perform. This is the part most people miss. You do not yell because you are angry. You become angry so you can yell. Anger is not the cause. It is the permission slip. Here is a moment that exposes this clearly. A parent is screaming at a child. Voice raised, face tense, anger fully activated. Then the phone rings. Hello? Yes. Oh, hello. Of course. Thank you. Calm voice, polite, controlled. The anger disappears instantly. Then the call ends and the anger comes back. If anger were uncontrollable, this would be impossible, but it happens every day. Because anger is being used strategically. It is turned on when intimidation is useful. It is turned off when consequences matter. This does not mean people are evil. It means they are responsible. And responsibility is not a curse. It is power. Saying, my anger made me do it, feels better than saying, I chose to act this way. Anger gives us cover. It lets us avoid responsibility for our words, our tone, our damage. But responsibility is not punishment. It is freedom. As long as anger is in charge, you are a passenger. Once you admit choice, you take the wheel. Anger is rarely random. It is social. People do not usually explode alone in empty rooms with no audience. Anger appears in relationships. Why? Because it is a tool for influence. Shouting overwhelms, intimidates, pressures, forces reaction. It shortcuts communication. Instead of explaining, you explode. Instead of listening, you dominate. Anger says, submit now or pay a price. And often people do submit, which reinforces the habit. Anger works until it does not. Here is the cost people do not see at first. Every time you use anger, you train others to fear you, not trust you. They comply now, but resist later. They obey on the surface, but rebel underneath. Children act out. Partners withdraw. Employees disengage. Anger wins the moment and loses the relationship. If anger solved problems, you would not need it again tomorrow. People often confuse anger with strength, but real strength does not need volume. It does not rush or shake or explode. Real strength is calm, measured, intentional. When someone stays composed while others lose control, they command the room, not through fear, but through presence. Anger looks powerful, but it is fragile. It breaks easily and leaves wreckage behind. When you see anger as a tool, something changes. You stop being ashamed of noticing it. Instead of suppressing it, you ask a better question. What am I trying to achieve? And suddenly you have options. Words, boundaries, silence, walking away, clear communication. You realize something important. You never needed anger. You needed clarity. The moment you stop saying, "I lost control," and start saying, "I chose this," is the moment your life begins to change. Because now you can choose differently. Anger is not your enemy, but it is not your master. It is a tool. And like all tools, it should be used rarely, carefully, and consciously. The strongest people are not the ones who explode. They are the ones who no longer need to.